Many years ago, in a place called Katutra in the city of Windhoek, there lived a young woman named Zalika. She had a small chicken business. Behind her small home, she raised chickens. Every morning, before the sun was fully up, Zalika would wake up. She would sweep the yard, clean the chicken cages, feed the chickens, and check for eggs. Then, she would get dressed and go to the market to sell eggs and chicken meat. People called her Miss Chicken because she worked so hard, and everyone admired her. Zalika had a boyfriend named Malik Thando. They had been together for 3 years. Malik worked as a civil engineer in the city. He lived in a flat in a place called Eros. His company helped him get that place. He was the only son of a woman named Nadira Kasai. She used to be a school headmistress, but now stayed home because she was sick with high blood pressure and her knees hurt. Malik also had a younger sister named Ayana. Ayana was studying accounting at the University of Namibia. Zalika and Malik met at a youth conference. From that day, their lives felt like a fairy tale. Malik was kind and supported Zalika even when her business was not doing well. He cared for her even when she was tired, when her nails were chipped, and when her hair was messy. He always told her he loved her. One Sunday afternoon, after eating lunch at a restaurant, Malik got down on one knee and opened a little ring box. He said, "My chicken girl, will you marry me?" Everyone in the restaurant clapped and cheered. Zalika cried and said, "Yes." For weeks, she was so happy. She danced while feeding her chickens and sang while boiling water. She wore her ring with pride and told everyone about her fiancé. Her mom was very happy. Her best friend, Lena, started preparing to be a bridesmaid. Later, Malik said it was time to visit his family officially. Zalika wanted to make a good impression. She asked people what gifts to bring for a Namibian mother-in-law. She didn't want to do too little or too much. She bought handmade baskets, dry fish, mahango flour, a new headscarf, and perfume. She wrapped them nicely and wore her best dress. On the way to the house, she was nervous. She asked Malik if his mother liked spicy food, if she should cut it once or twice, and if Ayana would be home. Malik laughed and said, "Relax. You're perfect already." But as soon as they entered the house, everything felt cold. Nadira Kasai sat very straight in a big chair, wearing a neat traditional dress and glasses. Ayana sat beside her with earphones and barely looked up. Zalika smiled and gave them the gifts. But Nadira Kasai did not smile. She asked, "Where did you get the money to buy all this?" "From Malik." Zalika smiled shyly and said, "I have a poultry business, Mama. I raise chickens." Nadira Kasai just muttered something and turned away. Ayana didn't greet Zalika at all. She went to the kitchen and didn't even offer a drink. The room was quiet. Malik tried to make jokes and talk, but it was clear that they didn't like Zalika. On the way home, Zalika asked Malik, "Why do I feel like your mom and sister don't like me?" Malik held her hand and said, No, don't think like that. My mom is always like that with new people." But later that night, when Zalika told her friend Lena what happened, Lena shook her head and said, "My dear, if you marry into a family that hates you, you better be ready. You'll have to fight for your marriage, for peace, and against them." Still, Zalika stayed strong. She believed Malik loved her, and that was what mattered. But deep inside, a small voice whispered, "They don't want you. They will show you pain." Even so, she went ahead and planned the wedding with Malik. She tried very hard to be nice to his family. She bought chocolates, perfume, and even phone credit for Ayana. Once she even ordered sneakers Ayana liked. But Ayana barely said thank you. When Zalika visited Malik in his flat, things started nicely. They laughed and watched movies. But then Ayana would come over, and the mood would change. She would act like Zalika wasn't there. One Saturday, Zalika made ashafima and chicken stew. She set the table nicely. Ayana arrived, looked at the food, and laughed. She said, "Is this food? Even our dog wouldn't eat this." Zalika laughed nervously and asked, "You're joking, right?" Ayana rolled her eyes and said, "You'll see when you marry into this family." Malik just said, "Don't mind her. Ayana likes to joke." But for Ayana, it wasn't a joke. It was a warning. Still, Zalika didn't complain. Her mother had told her that before becoming a wife, a woman should learn to be silent, respect elders, and avoid fights. One day, Malik wanted to take medicine to his mother. Zalika went with him. She also brought some beans and peanut soup with a get-well-soon note. Malik stepped out to greet a neighbor. Nadira Kasai looked at Zalika and said coldly, "Look, I don't like you. You are not welcome in this family. You can bring all the beans and chickens you want. But gifts won't change anything. If you are smart, leave now while there's still time." Zalika was shocked. She wanted to cry, but she smiled and said, "Thank you, Mama. I've heard you." When Malik came back, she didn't say anything. She packed the plate and smiled. But at home, she cried a lot. Her heart hurt, not because of the words, but because the woman said them so calmly, with no anger, just coldness. She told her mother what happened. Her mother, a strong old woman, sighed and said, "If a house hates you from the start, it will hurt you more later. Love is not enough if his family wants you to fail." Still, Zalika stayed strong. She believed love would win. On the wedding day, she wore a mermaid gown with a long veil. Malik looked handsome in his cream suit. It was a beautiful day. Even Nadira Kasai and Ayana smiled, but the smiles didn't reach their hearts. After the wedding, Zalika moved into Malik's flat. At first, things were good. Malik still called her my chicken girl. Sometimes he brought her flowers or took her for drives at night to eat shawarma. They laughed a lot. She continued her chicken business in a new space she rented. But just 3 months later, Malik called her. He said, "Mama isn't feeling well. Her blood pressure is high. The doctor said she shouldn't stay alone." Zalika felt worried. She asked, "So what are you saying?" Malik said, "She will come and stay with us until she feels better." Zalika agreed. She was a wife now. Wives help. The next morning, Nadira Kasai arrived with 2 big boxes and a mattress. Ayana came too, looking at Zalika like she was waiting to say, "We warned you." At first, things were okay. Zalika cooked, cleaned, and helped. But soon things got worse. In the first week, Nadira Kasai accidentally spilled hot water on Zalika's foot. In the second week, she started vomiting on the floor near Zalika's new rug. When Zalika kindly asked if they could get a helper, her mother-in-law said, "Isn't this what you signed up for when you forced yourself into our family?" Ayana started visiting more. She and her mom whispered, laughed, and stared at Zalika. When Zalika entered the room, they would stop talking and pretend to watch TV. Malik was hardly home. He was working on a road project outside the city and stayed there for days. So Zalika had to do everything alone. Her business started suffering. She missed deliveries. Chickens died from hunger. Money became tight. But she stayed strong. She told herself it was just for a while. Things would get better. Then one day, a big problem happened. Zalika went to the market to deliver eggs. While she was gone, Nadira Kasai fainted and hit her head lightly on the coffee table. It wasn't serious, but when Malik came home, he was very angry. "How can you leave her alone in this condition?" he shouted. Zalika said, "I only stepped out for a few hours." But Malik kept shouting. And that was the first time he ever shouted at her. Moyo stood still in shock, holding the bag of chicken food she had just bought. Her chest didn't hurt because of Malik's anger, but because he believed bad things about her so quickly. That night, Malik's mother, Kasai, smiled proudly as Malik brought her water to drink. At the same time, Moyo was sitting on the bathroom floor, hugging her knees and crying like a little girl who didn't know how to go home. She remembered what her friend Lena once told her. If your husband's family doesn't like you, and your husband always listens to them, you will suffer. One day, your husband will be the one who helps them hurt you. Moyo now understood. Her marriage felt like walking through fire, and she was already getting burned. By the 6th month of their marriage, Moyo was very tired and sad. Her small business was not doing well. It was staying alive only with prayer and kindness. She used to dance while packing eggs for customers. Now she walked slowly, feeling unhappy in her own home. But Malik's mom, Nadira Kasai, was acting very bold. Every morning, she would wake up and demand hot water for her bath. Then she wanted a royal breakfast. Boiled eggs, soft porridge, and fried fish. Not too dry and not too oily. She would sit by the door and give orders like a queen in charge of an army. She never said thank you, and she never asked how are you? But when Malik came home from work, She would act very sweet and weak, coughing, pretending she couldn't walk. Malik would kiss her forehead and say she was such a strong woman. Moyo now lived in two worlds. One where her husband called her a queen, and one where she was treated like a tired maid. One Sunday Moyo got a call. Her mother in the north was sick. It wasn't something serious, but she needed someone to be with her for a few days. Moyo told Malik and said, "Please, ask your cousin to help your mom while I visit mine." Malik scratched his head and frowned. "You want to leave my mom alone?" "It's only for a few days," Moyo said. "I'll be back soon." Malik sighed. "Okay, I'll try to call someone." But the next day, no one came, and Malik left early for a trip. He said he would call his cousin later. Moyo stayed one more day just in case. That evening, while she was cooking dinner, she heard a loud crash in the bathroom. She ran there and found Malik's mom on the floor groaning. Her legs were shaking. Moyo panicked and tried to help her up, but Kasai slapped her hand away. "Leave me alone. You want to kill me, right? You made the floor slippery to hurt me." Moyo froze. "What are you saying, Mama? I was just trying to help." "Shut up." Kasai shouted. "You want me gone so you can confuse my son." Moyo stood there, confused and scared. That night, Malik called his mom. She started coughing loudly and crying. "She almost killed me today, Malik. That girl wants to erase me from your life." Malik didn't even ask Moyo what happened. He called her an hour later and said, "I think it's best if you stay back after visiting your mom. Maybe some space will help." Moyo was shocked. "What does that mean?" "Just some space," he said again. That night, Moyo couldn't sleep. Her mother's old words came back to her. "The family that didn't want you at the start will keep pushing you out until you leave on your own." The next morning, Malik's cousin Ayana came to help his mother. Moyo packed a small bag and went to her mother's house. She stayed there for 3 weeks. Malik didn't call her even once. One day, Lena sent her a message. "Your husband is in Windhoek." Moyo was surprised. "Windhoek," she thought. She called Malik. His voice was cold. "Why didn't you tell me you were back?" she asked. "You didn't ask," Malik replied. That was the moment Moyo knew. He had made his choice, and he didn't choose her. He chose the woman who hated her. Moyo looked at the ceiling and said, "If he can choose her now, what about tomorrow? How did I even get to this point?" This wasn't what she prayed for. This wasn't what she hoped for when Malik knelt down and gave her a gold ring, saying, "You are the peace I prayed for." Where did that peace go? 1 month later, Moyo's mom called her to the bedroom. "Moyo, when will you go back home?" Moyo waited and then smiled. "When I'm strong enough, Mama." But deep down she knew, it wasn't about strength anymore. It was about making a choice. 1 week later, Malik came to visit her. He looked tired and thinner. When Moyo saw him coming, her chest felt strange, like fear, anger, and relief all at the same time. He greeted her mother politely. She nodded coldly. Then he pulled Moyo aside. "Baby, I'm sorry," he said. "Mama has been hard to deal with. She's just getting old." Moyo didn't say anything. "I should have protected you more. I should have called. But I felt stuck. I didn't want to lose my mom." "You were okay losing your wife instead?" Moyo asked. Malik looked down. "I thought you would understand." "I did understand," Moyo said. "I understood too much. Even when your mom spilled hot porridge on my foot and said it was an accident, I stayed quiet. When she threw up on my dress and said she missed the toilet, I cleaned it. When your sister came over just to roll her eyes and insult me, I still kept understanding. Until there was nothing left inside me to understand." Malik held her hand. "Let's start over, please. I miss you." Moyo took a deep breath and said, "I'm not coming back, Malik." Malik stood still. "The day your mom said I tried to kill her in the bathroom, you didn't even ask me what happened. You shouted at me like I was nobody. Something inside me broke that day, and I can't fix it." "But we are married," Malik said. "To who?" Moyo asked. "To me? Or your mother?" Malik was quiet. "This marriage was a mistake," Moyo said. "I saw the signs, but I thought love was enough. But love without protection is pain. Love without boundaries is punishment. Your family didn't want me, and you let them win. I forgive you, but I'm not coming back. Malik looked sad. So this is it. Moyo nodded. This is me choosing peace. Something I haven't had since I became your wife. Malik wiped his eyes and walked away. Moyo watched his car drive off and whispered, if I ever marry again, it will be into a home where I am celebrated, not tolerated. When Malik returned to Windhoek without his wife, the house felt like a funeral. It was quiet but not peaceful. His mom was sitting in the living room, wearing a wrapper and drinking tea. She asked, so you didn't bring her back? Malik didn't reply. He dropped his bag and went to the kitchen. He poured water and leaned on the counter. He looked around and saw dirty dishes in the sink, dust on the windows, and mess everywhere. These things never bothered him before, but now the house felt cold and empty. Later, his mom asked what he would eat. Malik said, you're strong. You can cook for yourself. She turned and said, so now I should cook because your little wife left. He didn't reply. She hissed and went to the kitchen, grumbling. Malik sat alone. The TV was on, but he didn't hear it. He thought about how he didn't defend Moyo, how he made excuses for his mom and sister, how he ignored Moyo's pain. Things got worse. Malik felt tired and angry all the time. He missed meetings at work. His boss called him. Malik, is everything okay at home? Malik smiled weakly. Just a small family problem. But it wasn't small. It was growing. His mom started having back pain, and the doctor said she needed physical therapy. Now Malik had to do everything, cooking, cleaning, laundry, and he finally saw how much Moyo had been doing. One Saturday, after cleaning the house, his sister Imani visited. She walked in and said, EW, this house smells like bleach and sadness. Where's your wife? Malik shouted, if it smells bad, go back to your house. Imani laughed. Relax. I was just asking. But Malik shouted louder, you're never helpful. You always make fun of things. Marriage is not a joke. Imani was shocked. He had never shouted at her before. She grabbed her bag and left. That evening, Malik sat on the floor and cried. I should have protected her. I should have spoken up. But now it's too late. 6 months later, Moyo stood in front of her mirror, tying her scarf. Her face was glowing. She had moved back to her hometown. Her chicken business was doing well. Her customers had returned. She felt happy. One day, as she was getting ready to go to the market, a car stopped in front of her house. Malik stepped out, holding a white envelope. He looked unsure. He greeted her politely. She nodded. They sat under a tree. How are you? He asked. Better than I thought I would be, she replied. He smiled. I'm glad. Then he gave her the envelope. It's money and your things. I don't know if you want them. But she gently stopped him. Malik, I don't want anything that pulls me back. He nodded. I understand. Then he said, Mama passed away last week. Moyo blinked. Many memories came back. Her mother-in-law's insults, the pain, but she felt no anger or joy. Just peace. I'm sorry, she said. Thank you, Malik replied. Then he stood up. Before he left, he said something surprising. If I ever marry again, I hope I become a better man. She didn't say anything. She just smiled, a small smile of peace. Because now she knew, peace is better than position.